News and Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wachiku, and these are the top stories. Court strikes out suit by Edison Ehie against defected Rivers Assembly lawmakers. APC boasts PDP will lose 2027 elections. North Central Group praises Tinubu, better Edo's intervention in Plateau. Kalu reveals those responsible for jacking up 2024 budget. Details now. The news begins with a suit filed by the resigned factional Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Edison Ehie, which has been struck out by Rivers State High Court. Ehie had filed the charges against 25 Rivers Assembly lawmakers who defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress in the wake of the political crisis between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his predecessor, Nyesom Wike. He filed the suit against the defected lawmakers over their continued sitting as members of Rivers State House of Assembly after their seats have been declared vacant. However, the AP News gathered that Ehie, through his lawyers on Thursday, issued a notice of discontinuance on the suit, with the judge thereafter striking out the suit. This development is in line with the resolution pact brokered by President Bola Tinubu when he summoned the stakeholders involved in the crisis to Abuja. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress has dismissed the 2027 presidential aspirations of Atiku Abubakar, the People's Democratic Party candidate in the 2023 election, labeling it as the most laughable news of 2024. Bala Ibrahim, APC's Director of Publicity, predicted a heavy defeat for the former vice president in 2027. This comes in response to Atiku's spokesperson Daniel Bala confirming Atiku's intention to run again. Atiku has contested the presidency 6 times before, failing in 1993, 2007, 2011, 2015, 2019 and 2023. Despite his repeated losses, Bala described him as the president who we never had, citing his experience and understanding of the private sector. However, the APC in response argued that Atiku has no remaining value. Ibrahim stated, and I quote, "Our party, which is the All Progressives Congress, thrashed Atiku not once, not twice. Even when we thought he had the energy and little credibility to make him viable to Nigerians, we defeated him completely." Ibrahim advised Atiku to quit politics, suggesting he was being misled by his advisors. However, the comment drew criticism from the PDP's Deputy Publicity Secretary, Ibrahim Abdullahi. Elsewhere, a social-cultural group under the aegis of the Plateau Humanitarian Vanguard in the North Central Zone has praised President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, for their response to the Plateau communities recently attacked by gunmen. You recall that following the attacks in some Plateau communities, where over 100 persons were killed, Tinubu had directed Edu to do everything possible to provide succor to the victims of the affected communities. Subsequently, Edu distributed food and non-food relief materials to the victims of the attacks in Plateau State on Wednesday. The minister also visited affected communities for an on-the-spot assessment of the areas with her counterpart from the Ministry of Defense. Reacting to this development, the group in a statement on Wednesday night said such humanitarian interventions in the face of hunger and displeasure have given the victims a sense of belonging and ameliorated their pains. The president of Plateau Humanitarian Vanguard, Jonah Palm, said the timely response is a ray of hope to the affected communities. In another development, a former Senate Chief Whip, Senator R.G. Kalu, has disclosed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was not responsible for jacking up the 2024 budget. VOP News understands that Kalu made this known while speaking with journalists shortly after a Thanksgiving ceremony organized by the Ebonyi State Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Stanley Okoro Emega, at Edda. Kalu said the National Assembly, not Tinubu, should be blamed for the development. According to him, many expenditures will be made, including the census, which are not captured in the budget. He said, I can tell you it's not the president that jacked up the budget to 28.2 trillion naira, but the National Assembly, of which I am a ranking member of the Appropriation Committee. He disclosed further, we want to do census and the government has spent billions of naira on it and it was not captured in the budget. They brought new figures from the National Population Commission and other relevant bodies and that's why the budget went up. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not know anything about it. We have been working on the budget and so it wasn't from the president. It is the fault of the president. I will tell you if it was his fault. I have just given you one of the reasons why the budget was jacked up. End quote. Now, to talk about this and many more issues on the World News at 6, I have right here in the studio Mr. Peter Anosike. Peter Anosike is a political and social affairs commentator. He's also a development strategist as well as a philosopher. Mr. Peter Anosike, good evening. Happy New Year. Welcome to the World News at 6.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, let's look at this. It's quite unfortunate when we begin to complain about the shenanigans in government. And while I call it shenanigans, is that there are some demonstrations. When I mean demonstrations, non-verbal demonstrations, the disposition of the federal government that puts to question a lot of things. For example, the 2024 budget was checked up, and now Kylo is saying that the president is not aware. We had the same occurrence during the last dispensation, where most of the time that there was an issue, either there's a jack-up in the budget, either there is a crisis somewhere, either there is fuel scarcity, or one social or national issue or the other. The former president always claimed he never knew or he was not in the know of what was going on. How can the president sign a budget and claim that he's not aware of what made that budget get more expensive or more, would I say, unexplainable than it was?
The president may not know.
Okay.
Understand? This is how budget works.
All right.
What they call budget and padding is not really budget padding.
It is what then if it is not budget padding?
It's not budget padding, but the politicians don't know how to tell Nigerians openly what is happening. Understand? The senators or the members of the House of Reps are there to defend.
Continue, please.
The senators or the members of the House of Representatives are there to represent their people. Understand? And if a budget comes, they don't want to see that budget to see if there are things for their own people. Understand me? If there's none, they can say, we need so and so things. Understand me? Mm-hmm. That my people need so and so things. Then, if assuming that it's a 2 trillion budget that was presented to the National Assembly, maybe somebody representing Ojo federal constituency in the House of Representatives see that there's nothing in that budget for his own people. He may beg his colleagues there, add so and so things for the people of my constituency.
All right.
Understand? Add so and so things for the people of my constituency. So if it is 500 million that was added, the budget has now risen from 2 trillion to 2 trillion 500.
All right.
Understand me? So this is what they call budget padding.
Okay.
That's why budget comes higher than as it was sent to the National Assembly. So this is what happens. But they have found it difficult to tell the people. Understand? So what Kando said is true. There's no way you can send a budget to the National Assembly and it come back the same way. No.
Interesting. Mr. Peter Anosike, let's also look at this. The APC has eventually disclosed that Atiku Abubakar of the PDP should retire from politics, that he has no remaining value. I recall yesterday we had a conversation and you said that one good thing is that Atiku Abubakar has the right to want to run for office, if he intends to run for office, he has the right to disclose that he wants to run for office in 2027. Now, let's look at the scenario where the APC is boasting that the PDP literally do no longer have the foundational spine to run. They no longer consider them as serious threats concerning the 2027 general elections. And the fact that Atiku should rather, they have won him on 2 or 3 occasions. They've defeated him, that he shouldn't bother coming up in 2027. Would you say it's because the PDP has been quite silent on a lot of critical national issues, specifically with the situation in Rivers, and that's why the APC is very confident with the remark they gave in response to Atiku disclosing he was going to run in 2027?
Well, for me, the APC can never win a free and fair election. That's a fact. APC has never won and will never win free and fair election. That they are in power today is because of rigging, manipulation. Understand me? APC as a whole don't have anybody as qualified as Atiku from A to Z. They don't have anybody as qualified for the office of the president as Atiku. They don't have anybody that has the same credit as Atiku. APC don't have anybody that has the business acumen as Atiku. Understand me?
All right.
But my belief is that ambition is free.
Okay.
Everybody has the right to have ambition, but actualizing it becomes a different thing.
All right.
Every Nigerian, you and I, can tomorrow declare for the office of the president of Nigeria. It is our constitutional right. But whether the party that we are going to run will give us the ticket is another ball game. Understand? Then if we get the ticket, whether Nigerians will give us that mandate is also a different ball game.
Okay.
But Atiku has the right to declare for the office of the presidency. It is his constitutional right. And I'm telling you, Atiku must have made that declaration now to stop a lot of people. Okay. Understand me? Just like, understand me, he must have made that declaration now because Nyesom Wike can in 2027 say that the PDP has no candidate.
All right.
That PDP had decided to support Tinubu.
Okay.
So Atiku, this is 2024. 2024. So Atiku declaring now one could be that to spite some people.
All right.
And maybe he has seen what many people are not seeing. Understand? So I'm happy that he made that declaration because Wike is a madman.
Wow.
Understand me?
Mr. Nosike, we're an era. We need to be careful by the utterances we use to describe certain things. No, you can say Wike could be erratic, but not to use the word. So, yes.
Atiku must have made this statement to wage some people who may want to trade with PDP in 2027.
All right.
Some people might come to us and say that PDP has no candidate. So from 2024, PDP has a candidate.
All right.
Understand me? So there shouldn't be that all the political parties have decided to endorse Tinubu, that Tinubu is doing well. No, PDP has a candidate for 2027. And to me, it's a very good move. It's a very strategic move.
All right, but you do know that there were issues initially concerning Atiku by some PDP members stating that he was one that made them lose the 2023 elections. Don't you think that will rub off, in a negative way for them if they decide to schedule Atiku for 2027? Just very briefly before we go to all the issues.
Atiku just expressed an ambition. Understand? The primaries is going to be held in 2026. Understand me?
All right.
So there's still time for all that things.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Peter Anosike, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government has labeled Nigerians who obtained fake certificates from foreign institutions as criminals, and he vowed to flush them out of the system. And the Minister of Education, Tahir Maman, while addressing correspondents on Wednesday, disclosed this in the wake of an investigation by Daily Nigeria, which exposed how Benin Republic University sold a degree certificate to its undercover reporter who never attended the school. Also, he used the opportunity to berate Nigerians parading fake certificates from foreign universities. Mr. Maman says students who patronize foreign institutions to procure degrees are not victims, they're criminals. I have no sympathy for such people. Instead, they are part of the criminal chain that should be arrested. He asked what Mr. Tinubu's government will do to Nigerians with fake foreign certificates working in government institutions. Mr. Maman said if along the line they can trace that there are anybody already in the system. For instance, if a particular institution or operator has been operating, say in the last 10 years, they will check if they can get the records. And if the records are not from any of the prioritized institutions in this country, is from one of the fake institutions, then they'll be criminalized. But the question now is this. All the critics, all right, and political stalwarts has said, how can the president be the one saying that if anyone with a fake certificate is caught, they will literally call them criminals? What about?
It's the minister that is saying, not the president.
But it's in response. It's in response to the president's action. The president's body language towards it has approved that any individual, they're going to go across board. Any institution, any individual that is caught with this fake certificate. If you appoint a minister, the minister is meant to represent you. Anything the minister says, the minister is speaking on behalf of the government. So literally, the minister spoke on behalf of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and they have vowed and labeled Nigerians with fake certificates from these foreign institutions as criminals. So don't you consider that ironical?
Well, for me, I don't believe that the minister spoke for the president.
You don't believe he spoke for the president?
Yes, he spoke as a minister of education.
All right.
But I will have my suggestion would have been that before making that statement, he should have presented his own first.
Okay.
Understand? Let us see where he got his own certificate. Understand me?
Okay.
Because he too, his own might be questionable.
Oh, you mean the minister come?
Sure. His own. So, as he is making this statement, he should have mentioned where he obtained his own certificate. Let that investigation start from him. Understand? Because he knows that he's even covering somebody whose case was being judged not more than 6 months ago. Understand me?
Yes.
And his own principal obtained his own from foreign country too. Understand me?
All right.
So he should have showed us his own certificate. Let us know where he got his own. Understand me? Because one day I was interviewing an MD of a bank in Nigeria.
Right.
He told me that his bank does not employ Nigerian graduates.
All right.
Because of the educational system. He said, how can you imagine that's an abortion of school for 3 semesters that is going to affect the reasoning faculty of the student?
Okay.
So that his own bank does not employ graduates from Nigeria. So when you hear this thing, what do? You have to look abroad to get certificates from abroad. Some institutions in Nigeria value certificate from Ghana than from Nigeria.
Okay.
Because one, their own academic system doesn't witness the hitches that is being experienced in our own.
All right.
Understand me? So it is Nigeria also that is causing this thing by pushing our students abroad.
Okay.
When you hear that Nigerian banks don't employ Nigerian graduates, what do? Understand me?
Interesting.
What do? They have told you get your own certificate abroad. Understand me? So, and when you see that, okay, the spokesman of the president, that's
Ajuri Ngalale.
Yes, the advantage that he has over the other, he's a junior staff both at AIT and at this in Channels TV.
All right.
Understand me? What advantage does he have that is good in the United States and he's a half caste?
Okay.
Understand me? It's not that he's better than the other media practitioners in the country.
All right. Mr. Peter Anosike, let's go to Rivers. Apparently, lately, I think a few moments ago, was it yesterday, Joe Diri as well as Fubara met. And apparently the scriptures that Wike wanted war. And Diri told Fubara during the meeting with Siriaka Dixon in attendance, there were quite a lot of words of wisdom between them, and Fubara was able to give his own expressions. Others feel that Fubara is quite intelligent and he's just keeping quiet to see how things turn out at the end of the day, and that Fubara has been scoring points and goodwill across with all Nigerians. Do you think that was Wike's intention to stir up war in Rivers State?
What is happening in River State is greed. Understand me? Greed is number one. Understand? Why can somebody be shouting, you cannot destroy my structure? You cannot destroy my structure. If you destroy my structure, you have made me irrelevant. I don't want to be irrelevant. It's greed. You have governed for 8 years. And fortunately for you, you get a ministerial appointment in Abuja.
Right.
You should go to Abuja and leave Rivers to the person that is there.
All right.
Understand me? So greed is what is happening in Rivers State. And the Fubara for now is playing his game well.
All right.
Siriaki Dixon is an Ijeoma man.
All right.
Diri is an Ijeoma man.
Okay.
And these are very volatile people.
All right.
So he has gone back to his base. Understand?
Okay. All right.
Don't leave me alone. Understand?
Okay. So, Mr. Anosike, before I let you go, let's do a little review or a reality check in comparison with what the president said about those who have who go attend these institutions and parade their certificates, considering them criminals. Literally, there was a reality check that was conducted on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with the CSU certificate saga and the FBI files that were released, and one of the mandates specifically by the owner of Plainsight, Aaron Greenspan, was that how can a president of a country as huge and wide like Nigeria, with a lot of economic ties with countries across the world, where no one can actually have a direct breakdown of his identity, of his educational requirements, and how does he intend to rule firmly? How does he intend to fight corruption? And the ironical aspect of having to state that those who have certificates, supposedly forged certificates supposedly from these institutions that were mentioned, considering them criminals, where does that place the president, considering the fact that he never came out to actually state categorically about the forged certificate and the evidence that was presented by Atiku Abubakar? Rather, the president wrote on several occasions to the FBI, wrote to the CSU not to release his academic records for whatever reason,
and
like he has something to hide.
That makes it suspect.
That made it suspect. So that's the irony now. How can the president fight this war when he is also one who is part of the system?
Well, for me, what they are creating is distractions.
Who is creating distractions?
The federal government is creating a distraction.
Okay.
Because apart from the undercover or reporter, this issue wouldn't have come up. And they don't want to sweep it under the carpet because it will remind a lot of people that this is the norm in the country. So they just want to do a kind of that we're against this.
So are you saying that there is a strong possibility that they may not do anything about it? Maybe they just wanted to act like they were being responsible by stating and publicly saying what they were saying. The media
within the next 1 week, this issue will die down.
Mr. Anosike, how does President Bola Ahmed Tinubu intend to fight corruption from the basics if supposedly he is suspect to be, and if his name has not been cleared in some certain instances? Let's put aside the fact that he's a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. How does he intend to fight corruption? Because if you look at the Umar Farouk, for instance, for example, you recall that recently the EFCC, on behalf of her, she wrote a letter to say she's not feeling fine, and that was why she couldn't appear for the questioning on the 37.1 billion naira that was utilized by her department. And of course, the EFCC was speaking on her behalf. This is what happens when the rules does not apply to everyone. The rules apply to the majority poor and isolates the minority rich.
Last one, are you geographically advantaged or disadvantaged? If you are geographically advantaged, you have an immunity even when you are not a governor or a president.
Okay.
You can now write to EFCC, explain to them they should give you time.
Okay.
That you are not well. Understand me? You don't even give them timeline. You didn't tell them whether it's checkup that you go, whether or your BP just went up, but you are not feeling fine. They should give
but
you
she
time.
was incommunicado all through yesterday while she was invited for questioning, and then today the EFCC is speaking on her behalf, that she wrote to them to tell them this is why she couldn't come. The question is, we do know how the EFCC operates. These people will come to your house, they will carry you off like you have been caught, like you were caught stealing. We know how they carry out their operations. And this time around, they invited her to come answer questions. She did not come. And then the EFCC is being the spokesperson for her by telling journalists that it's because she's not feeling fine. So the question is, how will the president break even?
That's this different strokes for different people.
Okay.
Understand? One, Tinubu cannot fight corruption. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Understand me? So nobody should expect him to fight corruption. What Nigeria should be praying is let these 4 years pass us by with a speed.
Okay.
Understand me? Whatever those that will manage that will survive. Those that will die. Understand me?
Okay.
But to fight corruption, nobody should expect that. And therefore, EFCC told you that they are waiting for a suspect till 6 p.m. The suspect did not come. Then the next day, you now turn to the media aid of the suspect. She wrote us a letter that she has a health challenge, that we should give her time. Imagine an armed robber writing a letter to the policeman, tell the police, give me time. Understand me?
And they'll give her time.
And they give her time. Understand me? They have given her time until she is comfortable. Maybe her doctor might recommend foreign treatment. She will go. Then when she is ready, she will now come back. By then, the issue must have been forgotten.
Mr. Peter Anosike, I want to say thank you so much for being part of the World News at 6. I sincerely do appreciate you. For you listening or watching us on YouTube, you can join us for an extensive analysis on at VOP TV Live or VOP Politics. VOP Politics takes place from Monday to Thursday, 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. on YouTube at VOP TV Live. That's Voice of the People TV. So VOP Politics, we break down these political issues. We do an extensive analysis, basically give you more research, in-depth research on most of the aspects through which our political parties as well as the political actors get to make policies and implementation and how they affect us on a daily basis. So at 7 o'clock, join us today on at VOP TV Live. My name is Esther Nwachukwu, and before we go, here again are the top stories. Court strikes out suit by Edison Ehie against affected Rivers Assembly lawmakers. ABC boasts PDP will lose 2027 elections. North Central Group praises Tinubu better ages intervention in Plateau, and Orji Kalu reveals those responsible for jacking up 2024 budget. That's a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Nwachukwu. Good evening and thank you for staying with us. Up next is the Evening Rush.